Hi, everybody. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. This is a channel where, as you know, I use Lenormand to look at the issues of the day. Stay tuned at the end for an announcement that I want to make about Mother's Day, which is Sunday. But before we get to that, there's maybe, three or four things that have been on my mind that I thought I would um, briefly explore with you in no particular order. Um, So the first one is that I see that Pamela Harris has sort of risen to the front of the stage again. As I've said before, I know she's testing the wind, how you do that, to see whether, to see what her chances are in a 2028 race. And, I remember when she uh, left the stage and then started to do interviews after that. She said that she thought that her best place from which to help the country was not from the inside, but from the outside. Clearly, she has reconsidered that because she's definitely considering a run. One of the things that I think is interesting is that she has said to donors, I think we should release that autopsy, which, sort of detailed what went wrong um, during the last election cycle. Ken Martin, who's the head of the party, you wouldn't know him if you ran into him in the street. He's the money guy. That's his job, basically, is to raise money for the party. But he also gets to decide on whether or not the autopsy should be released. And he has decided not to release it. Now, the thing is, he decided this 4 months ago. And we're only hearing now that Harris um, is questioning that decision. Apparently, though, she is only questioning that decision in conversations with donors. She has apparently not approached Ken Martin directly to say, I think you need to cough up that autopsy. So, hmm, why is that? Like, if you really think it should be coughed up, why would you not go to the horse's mouth and demand, as the candidate, that the autopsy results be be released? One of the big questions that I think that the autopsy addresses is how did they run through in 107 days, which was the length of her campaign, thanks to Uncle Joe uh, deciding way too late in the game to step down? How is it possible to have burned through $1.5 billion in campaign cash in 107 days? That question deserves to be answered as people think about what they're going to do next in terms of shelling out money. Uh, a lot of people thought that Harris should have run for governor instead, and then from that place staged another campaign for president. But there are a lot of other people who said that running for governor would have been, that was insulting, that would have been a step down when, as the candidate, she should be able to just run again from that position. I don't know. I mean, I wish she had taken a shorter hiatus than this long year and a half that she's been off. I know she wrote a book and I know she was doing a book tour. I know that she has traveled quite a bit in the South. The South is something I want to talk about in this broadcast, and talk to a lot of um, black people who vote, especially women. I know that they would be her support and her bedrock. But I just, there are so many people in the field that are being discussed now. I'm not even going to go through the list. I will say they are fewer than we've got on the gubernatorial uh, primary ballot in California. But anyway, there's a ton of people. She is not the only color. We would have probably Cory Booker. Wes Moore of Maryland has already said no, that he would not run. Um, but there are other people who would. So just putting them all to the side, which may seem unfair, but I think she's the one that people really want to know about. Um, Apparently, she had a conversation with Al Sharpton and asked his advice, and he said, you know, uh, your legacy would be amazing. You've got a great one, and you'd have an amazing one if you win. But if you were to run again and lose, your legacy would be tarnished, obviously, right? Two-time loser, however that happened. Um, so she's still weighing the odds. I'm gonna just jump the gun and assuming that she puts her hat again in the ring, I would like to know how she would do. Again, I'm jumping the gun, but what are her chances of winning a presidential primary? We'll just say primary, of winning a presidential primary in 28. Again, I have also said that, nobody running or thinking about running is going to defer to her. They're not going to step back and say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were going to run. Since you're going to run, let me move to the side and wait my turn." That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Uh, so given that, are her elbows sharp enough? Will her messaging be clear enough to win people over? Now, apparently, she's got this sort of it's a little bit vague, but this sort of three-prong message that she's out there giving now. And the message is the three things are that we need to deal with economics that have failed working people. I mean, that's certainly an argument that would appeal to tons of people, including possibly disenfranchised MAGA if they're not so racist that they couldn't bring themselves to vote for a black woman. But anyway, that's one of her issues, economics. The second one is the fact that we have a political system that is rigged. And she realized that during the last race, which is why she initially said she thought she would be able to do her best work from outside. She seems to have changed her tune on that, but that still is the second pillar, is dealing with a rigged electoral system. And then the third is that we have a weakened civic life, that people don't know civics, people don't understand their rights and responsibilities. Um, so anyway, those are her three planks. Kind of not the most scintillating, although albeit important, right? How would she fare in a Democratic primary? That's all I want to know. So I'm going to use the older woman card for her. How would she fare in the Democratic primary coming up in 2028? Obviously, I'm looking at this way in advance of that primary, but I still think it's worth looking at. So we're looking for the older woman. Okay. So this stands for Harris. I think I'm going to pull a couple more clarifiers, not on everything, but um, Yeah. Okay. So our original five are the mountain, the anchor. Here's Harris. We have the younger woman, and then we have the coffin. Here's the thing. These both are very stuck cards. They're stuck energy. I think the fact that she did not come out of the gate way earlier, that the fact that she didn't ask for a recount, the fact that she didn't contest what the felon did, is a big problem for a lot of people. You know, uh, a lot of people did spend their time howling into the wilderness after the election. Where's Kamala? How come she's not protesting? How come she's not out there saving the day? In her defense, and to be fair, she's a human being, and I think that loss was shocking to her and crushing to her. So we have to allow for the human factor. Nevertheless, we expect superhumanness, do we not, from our leaders, felon excluded? So the fact that she didn't rise to the occasion sooner is problematic. This feels very heavy, very weighted down, very quicksand-like. Um, she's in the center. Here we have the younger woman, and I think this stands for anyone younger. And by younger, I mean someone who is not associated with party establishment, irrespective of Harris's comments about, feeling like she would do better working for reform from the outside. Again, she seems to have changed her tune. And if you want to run for president, obviously you have to have uh, some connections to the inside, so to speak. So I think that the electorate will say, you know what? Sorry it didn't work out for you the first time. We realized that you got cheated on a lot of levels by a lot of people, that Uncle Joe did you no favors. But, it's time for new blood. For example, not for nothing, as they say in Jersey, um, Ocasio-Cortez is certainly old enough to run. She's, this feels very much like more progressive energy to me. And then the fifth card is the coffin. So we have a mountain, we have an anchor, which I've already said are heavy cards, and then we have the coffin, meaning, I mean, we all know what a coffin means, right? And then the only other card that we have that's not heavy and weighted down is this young card, which to me speaks to new energy. And if we want to interpret the coffin differently, a transformational energy, which Harris does not represent. She just doesn't. She is from the Democratic establishment. So I pulled clarifiers on Harris, and we have clover, we have fish, and those are great. People will be happy and say, "Oh, this is great. I'm gonna, support her because that's what should have happened the first time." There will be a lot of emotion around her if her previous supporters, should she choose to throw her hat in the ring. But look at the final card in the line. It's the cross. That's a no card. It's not going to be enough. The field will be too crowded. Remember, she had zero field before. It's not like the Democrats had a primary, right? Uncle Joe stepped out 107 days before the election. So there was no time for anything. She had that field all to herself. Now that field will be much more crowded and, much more difficult. The fifth card, which is the coffin, I decided to pull clarifiers on that as well. We have the garden, we have the child, and the bouquet. I think the garden, will be looking for someone transformational, someone new to whom they should give the win, which is what the bouquet is here. So I think I can mirror with the first card, but the last card, I think she will be denied the chance to win the primary. But again, we are months and months out. Um, she could decide to stop putting her finger up in the wind and start swinging a sword, demand that Ken Martin release the autopsy, you know, um, take the Democratic Party to task in that outsider way that she says she thought was her place moving forward. She could change her stripes and appear more progressive. I think that's a very heavy lift for her. And again, the field is really full. I mean, I can think of one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. I can think of 10 other candidates who would challenge her in a primary. So it would not be that she would sail into that position as the nominee. So I have always seen it that way. Um, Maybe things will change. I will look at it again when we're closer, but because she's just popped up in the news lately, I just thought, that might be a good thing to look at. All right. The second thing I thought I would look at today, I think I'm going to look at it maybe three or four things. So that was the first. The second thing I think I want to look at is what they are calling uh, Jim Crow 2.0, which is what we are in the midst of. We are in the midst of uh, a wholesale, widespread attempt to erase Black people from society. Um, Again, a lot of that was through the initiatives that the felon has instituted that got rid of so much. I don't need to elaborate on that. But now that we are approaching the primary season, 2026, uh, you have the South particularly uh, going out of their way to disenfranchise voters, most recently in Virginia and in Tennessee. We know that I think it's the Tennessee, maybe it was the Virginia Supreme Court. I don't know, it could have been both Supreme Courts. Um, Even though Virginia voted to redistrict, the Virginia Supreme Court has said, yeah, no, you can't do that. It is an attempt to disenfranchise Black people because, of course, they're terrified of losing the House. So I guess what I want to do, just like I looked broadly at Harris's chances to win the Democratic nomination for president in 2028, I want to look broadly at this attempt to um, have us be living under a Jim Crow 2.0. It very much feels like what it is. We are not in a post-racial society. As I've said before, anybody who comes on my page talking about I don't see color, I don't know, I might feel the urge to bibbity bobbity boo them. If you're a longtime viewer, you know what that means. Um, we have to wake up and we have to really be conscious of what's going on. And really, will we be disappeared? No. They've been trying to disappear us since the 1600s. We will not be disappeared. Um, we've been down this road many times before as Black people. It would be very nice if more white people were on board um, raising the roof over this disenfranchisement. And I think there are a lot, there need to be more. But how will this effort at disenfranchisement of the Black vote go? How will it affect the midterms? So I think what I'm going to use is the scythe because, the scythe is a cutting instrument. It is a farming implement, but you can use it as a tool of violence. And I think essentially violence is being done to the rights that we didn't have when I was born. We've only gained since the 60s, and now are just being widespread erased. So how will this effort to erase us go? So I'm looking at the site that will stand for the effort to erase Black people from, um, being full, fully enfranchised citizens, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. How will that effort go? Okay, so we're going to use the site for that. Fighting it, of course, will require all hands on deck. And if you're tired, take a nap and then get back up. So we're looking for the scythe, which will stand for this wholesale disenfranchisement of the Black vote that is sweeping the South. So, as you know, that was the Virginia Supreme Court that said, yeah, we're all about that Jim Crow part too. Um, to appeal to the actual federal Supreme Court, given the makeup of that court, would hardly be a sufficient remedy. So anyway, here's the scythe. And I'll pull some clarifiers on the last few cards. Okay, so we have the dog, we have the tower, we have the scythe, we have the stork, and we have clover. So what will happen to this effort to erase us? This of course is the card for both allies and for attorneys. So there will be lawsuits addressing this moving forward, coming from our side. Obviously, they will then, of course, appeal, et cetera, et cetera. Um, these are the courts, and this is government. The scythe is in the middle. The fourth card is interesting because it's the stork. It's the card for positive change, and that's followed by clover. Now, you know, I've seen clover a lot lately, and I'm going to repeat what I said. It's a great card. It's lucky, it's happy, but we won't get our rights enshrined in ways that means that we cannot be disenfranchised by believing in luck or even believing in the goodwill of good people. It's going to take more than that. Wishful thinking will not do the trick here. I pulled cards on the site. Again, this is this effort to disenfranchise and disappear Black people. And again, I'm saying Black people. I'm going to save you a little typing time. If you are someone else of color, I'd appreciate it if you not say, well, you didn't talk about this, that, and the other group too. No, I didn't, because right now I'm talking about Black people. So there you go. There will be other times when I talk about other people. Today, I am talking about Black people. Okay. So here's this effort to disenfranchise us. The clarifiers are the star, the lily, and the man. And this time, I don't think that this is the felon. Although we know the felon is all for this disenfranchisement, obviously, right? He hates us, and we don't exactly love him. So there you go. But um, I like that we have the star and the lily here. It makes me think that, trouble don't last always, that we have to have an understanding of, okay, we've been here before, and here we are again. This is not new. We are familiar with this um, fight, and we'll survive it. This is Black people right here. You know, maybe world weary, but also wise, stalwart, um, patient, angry, and unsurprised. I'm going to say unsurprised. Now, love that I see the stork. And of course, what is the response? What should be the answer to this redistricting and this and that and the other? Everybody has to vote. Now, again, part of this disenfranchisement effort makes it more difficult for people to vote. Like they want voting to be all same day, no mail-in vote, all that, the redistricting is part of it. Next thing you know, there'll be a poll tax. I mean, we need to expect everything and put nothing past them. But the vote, the vote, the vote. Um, we need to be stalwart in getting to the polls. Everybody. If you want to be an ally, you vote too, no matter what your race, and you vote for the right side. That's what this will take. The fifth card is this clover card, and the clarifiers are the book, the fox, and the whip. They have been trying to do this to us for 60 years at least. At least. Since the voting rights were enacted. This has been, and it's also part of the Project 2025 playbook, of course. Um, they are sneaky. They're sneaky, and we have to expect that. And of course, he does expect it. Remember, this is Black people. This is not the felon this time. My mother used to say you have to be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. She got that from the Bible, of course. But just assume malfeasance, assume ill intent, so that we can one up them at every opportunity. And that takes focus and discipline and allies and lawyers and people, no matter by hook or by crook, what the weather is, doesn't matter, going to the polls. There should be no excuse for not voting. None. And if you don't vote, well, then you're taking a stand right there and you're not on our side. And that's your business. That's fine. But this is disciplined, focused attention to what's going on. Again, by allies, by attorneys, and of course by us. So this is just, one more hill to climb for those of you who are shocked that this is happening. Um, I could tell you're not Black. And you don't have to be Black, but you have to be awake. If you want to be an ally, get over the shock and the awe of this and be angry, be upset about it. But the shock and the awe, nobody has time for that because this is the game that they're going to play. They are like those rats in the corner who know that they are cornered. This is their last gasp. Listen, they know how minorities have been treated in this country, so they know they don't want to be a minority. But The demographic shift is the demographic shift. No matter what they do, no matter how they incentivize white people to have 25 children so that the felon gives them a medal and a stipend, there's more of us than there are of them. And it's inexorable. So they are trying every ugly tactic they can try. And again, it's not new to us, um, but we need all hands on deck. I would say sorry if that sorry sounded a little strident, but I'm not really sorry, so I won't say that. All right, two more things. The Hanta virus. Well, we know that we are no longer in the World Health Organization, um, WHO, and World Health Organization has had its problems, its issues, etc. But it was a source of information. So we know that the CDC has also been gutted. Um, I guess I just want to ask the question. I've been reading a lot by virologists and epidemiologists about this hantavirus. I know that it is rare, the strain. I know that it is rare for the strain that it is the one that is human to human transmission. I know that the transmission has to be prolonged, which is why a cruise ship, of course, would be the perfect setting, as would those long metal tubes that we fly in, otherwise known as airplanes. Those would be perfect places for incubation for this. But medical wisdom is saying that this is not anything to worry about yet. So I just want to know, is it going to become something that we need to worry about? The card for disease, and this time the card for the hantavirus, um, this strain of it, I'm going to use the mice because that is the card for illness, disease. Okay, so let's see what we get. Is this something that we need to be paying closer attention to? Okay. It popped up pretty quick. Doesn't mean anything though. Okay, and then okay. So we have the woman, we have Clover, we have the mice, we have the fish, and we have the letter. Now, I do know that there's a new nominee for Surgeon General. Um, and her name is Nicole Saphier, Saphier. She is, in fact, a Black woman. She is way more qualified than the previous nominee, Casey Means. Her credentials are legitimate, um, and a Black woman. So that's interesting that she shows up here. Then we have our friend Clover again, followed by the mice, the fish, and the letter. Okay. Some people have been cynical about her nomination and said things like, oh, yeah, so the felon nominates this woman, this esteemed um, medical professional, a surgeon general, just in time for this hantavirus to come around so that she can be blamed. I don't think that, I mean, he's not that smart and he doesn't have that much foresight. So I don't believe that that's true. If she is confirmed, and I suspect she would be the one heading up this initiative to, to keep the public apprised of this the progress or not of this virus. Um, Over, I mean, I think that we are lucky that she is the nominee, so that's great. At least it's not a quack who's been nominated. In the center, of course, we have the illness. And the fourth card speaks to the fact that people have a lot of feelings about this. I mean, we all lived through COVID if we didn't die from it. So we are still very gun shy about these kinds of things. I mean, the world shut down, did it not? And so we will be looking to the Surgeon General for the proper protocol, the proper information moving forward. Uh, I'm I pulled cards on everything. So for her, the cards are the Lily, Sun, and the Anchor. I really like her. I think she's an honest broker who will calm people's fears by giving them good information, and that she will be seen as reliable by the public. Um, Now, remember Clover. As much as I love Clover, it's like the Santa Claus card. It's great, right? But there's a sort of a fantasy aspect to the card. And so the clarifiers are the mountain, the book, and the tower. Before we get too excited about the fact that we will have someone good at the helm in the form of this new Attorney General, I mean, Surgeon General, um, you know, let's not get over our skis on this. Let's not get over eager, assuming that everything's going to be fine. It's not going to be a problem. Because I think it's going to be slow moving, and there will be people in government who don't want us to know stuff. Like, oh, I don't know, RFK, for example, RFK Jr. I don't want to malign the dad, RFK Jr. Um, so let's be measured in uh, our excitement at the fact that someone who is qualified will be the Attorney General and be guiding us through this. Let us still, um, suspend our judgment because there will be elements in the government, obviously, who want to keep stuff from us. Oh, like the felon, like RFK Jr. Here, right in the center, this is the hantavirus. Clarifiers are the cross, the ring, and the man. I mean, it is it has a high rate. I mean, it's like a 35 to 40% mortality rate, apparently. That's what I've heard. So, I mean, it's not a joke, and I think we will be dealing with it for a while. Um, and you know how viruses are. They like to mutate. They like a challenge. They like to grow. And so we will have to be on our guard. Uh, Fourth card is the fish, and this is everybody's emotion because it's very PTSD-ish, right, for everybody who lived through the COVID era. And the clarifiers are the dog, the rider, and the house. So, we want to be good stewards of our resources. We want to take care of each other, um, help our neighbors, that kind of thing, should the time come. There may be some moving forward, not nearly yet. There may be some advice to um, avoid crowded spaces, social distancing, that kind of thing. Um, Fifth card is the letter, and the clarifiers are the whip, the bouquet, and crossroads. I like these a lot. So I do think that there will be a good protocol put in place should the need arise that we will have to adhere to. Um, I think it will be good, and I think we will be able to um, dodge a bullet in the way that we weren't able to with COVID. And I think that it will be thanks to um, this Surgeon General nominee. So I do have high hopes for her. I assume she will be confirmed. At least somebody knows that we need someone rational and intelligent who doesn't lick toilet bowls to be in charge of the messaging around our health. So that's a good thing. That's a hopeful sign. The final thing I thought I would look at is the fact that the felon is meant to go to China next week. Now, I will tell you, I have been to China twice. That flight is no joke. I mean, it is a long flight. Now, granted, I was sitting in the middle aisle, 14-hour flight, and I wasn't on anybody's Air Force One where I could walk around or lie down or do any of the rest of it. So I guess for me that 14, I mean, I would never do it again. I mean, it's a really arduous trip. The felon we know has venous insufficiency, has been advised by doctors to avoid such long trips. But again, Air Force One, he can walk around. Hopefully, he will be given, well, hopefully, or well, I'm going to be nice. Hopefully, he will be encouraged to wear compression socks, and they will adjust uh, his anticoagulant medication appropriately so that he gets there and back in one piece. But I guess my question is just going to be, will he get there in one piece? I'm not even going to look at what they discuss or anything like that over there. I just want to know physically, how will he do on this trip to China? 14 hours there, 14 hours back. Will he make it there and back? Guess is the question. Okay, so I'm going to use the older man for him, and I just want to know how he will do health wise for the extent of this trip, from the time that he gets on the plane to the time that he lands back at Dulles. It's not a long trip. I think I heard it's like a 3 or 4 day trip. But let's just see. So we're looking for him. Okay, so here's the felon. Oh, and look, there's the trip. Well, oh, sorry, I almost knocked my phone over. I mean, it will not be an easy trip. It's not an easy trip under the best of circumstances, even on Air Force One. It's a long, long flight. Then you've got the like a 12-hour time difference, so everything is upside down. So anyway, we have the cross, the ship, the felon, the bear, and the mountain. So, first of all, one of the things I'm wondering is if he will be precluded from taking this trip at all. We have the cross and it's mirrored by the mountain. I think the trip has already been delayed once. He was supposed to have gone and then he didn't. I'm not sure, but what it might be postponed again, or that it will be encouraged to postpone it. Whether he does it or not, it's a different story. Um, here's the trip. He's in the middle. And then we have the bear. So I feel like this could be doctors saying, yeah, no, you really, I mean, it's not a good idea. You shouldn't go. And him saying, you and who, what army is going to stop me? Because he wants to go. He needs to go see somebody who's his friend because Europe is not his friend. Canada's not his friend. Australia's not his friend. Uh, Oh, the whole Middle East is not his friend. His good friend Saudi Arabia, that's not his friend anymore, which is why he had to suspend that operation. The where he was going to open up the Strait of Hormuz, and Saudi Arabia said, "No, you're not. You're not over our airspace. You're not." So he is in need of an injection of friendly goodwill, some glad handing by the Chinese. So he really wants to go. Okay. Let's go to the cross, and the clarifiers are the dog, the ring, and the tower. This is funny because it's actually what I just said. I live in sunny Southern California, and the sun is streaming in, and it's so hot. So this will be my last question, and then I'll make my little announcement. Um, so yeah, this will be an arduous trip for someone of his age and condition, but he needs a friend. So he wants to sort of make sure that that circle of friendship with China is unbroken. That's what he wants to do because he's feeling lonely. Okay, here we have the ship, stands for the trip, and the clarifiers are the letter, the anchor, and the mice. Again, I think when it comes to the trip, the medical advice he's getting is that he should stay home because it won't be good for his health to go on this trip. Here he is in the center, bound and determined that he's going to go, and it's going to mess up his health, mess up his health, you know. Oh, oh. It will not be good for his health to go. But here he is saying, I really want to go. I need it for my ego. I need it for, I need a good trip so that the press will be good and people will love me again. This is what he really needs. He needs it for his ego, um, for his reputation, whatever. He needs China to greet him with open arms because the rest of the world is not doing that. The fifth card is this mountain. He will be encouraged not to go. Clarifiers are the lily, the child, and the house. I mean, not for nothing. I'm not sure he will be able to go. Um, the lily, it's the card for an old man who is kind of in his dotage. He's kind of um, got dementia, senile. And I don't think he'll be able to go. I could be wrong. I can mirror the house with the first card, which is the cross. He won't want to hear this news, but I'm not sure he'll be able to take this trip. So again, energy is mutable, time is mutable. I think in this moment he is being discouraged from going for health reasons. I think he badly wants to go because he um, he needs that injection of happy juice from a nation that he thinks uh, likes him. You know, China's got his number. They're not stupid. Uh, he may not be able to go in the end. And if he does go, um, I think it will be, as they say, deleterious to his health. I don't think it will do his health any favors to go. Um, if it's up to him, he will insist. But I think either way, it's going to be not good. If he goes, it will not be good for his health. If he doesn't go, um, it'll be hard for his mental health because where else has he got friends? Hmm, too bad, so sad. All right, my announcement. So Sunday's Mother's Day, and I know that I said that I would uh, when I reach 40,000 subscribers, I would come on and do personal readings here. Um, but I thought, you know what? It's Mother's Day coming up. And so why don't I give everybody a Mother's Day gift? So what I will do is I will come on, do a live, and you can ask questions of either a personal nature or, the kind of questions that I normally look at. You can ask about world events or domestic events or whatever you want to ask. So it'll be open, and that will be on Sunday. Hmm, I'm thinking at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That would be 9 p.m. in the East. If you're somewhere else, you can figure it out. I know that there may be people going out to dinner, or maybe you will have gone out to brunch or something. But if you're around and if you're interested, I'll be doing 3 to 5 card readings, mostly three, for an hour. And I will try to answer as many questions as I can in that amount of time. If the questions are good and if I'm feeling up to it, I will maybe stay a little bit longer. But for now, let's just say that it will be Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, and that will be my Mother's Day gift to you. I may or may not have a guest with me helping me out, but it may be just you and me. But I am very grateful for all of your support of my channel, your many kind words. I read every comment, uh, and I really appreciate this community. So that will be my Mother's Day gift to you on Sunday, 6 p.m. East Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, everybody, have a great start to your weekend, and I will see you here on Sunday. Take care.